Hey, welcome to Watch I'm Waiting on the Lord. Today is December, it's the 13th or 14th. I think it's the 13th. I'm not sure actually. Um, there's a few things in this today. Christians, be careful what you watch. And there's some other stuff in my last video, and I'm gonna read someone's comment. And so let's just get to this. Actually, I'm gonna say before this, I pulled my I don't know what it was from carrying groceries. I pulled like a nerve up into my neck, down to my lats on my left side, and it hurts. Please say a prayer for that. You know when you know throughout the Bible, and I say this to you guys, but I haven't shown you anything though, which I think I'm going to do. Maybe not right now, but because of the camera I have, it's a weird camera. The Apostle Paul says, and I agree, to always work with your hands, so you're not a busybody type person. And so I like to do things with my hands. I like to make things. I like to create things. I like to learn new skills. And so if it works, because this camera right here, it's like a Logitech, it's like a Logitech Pro or something like that, high definition. I would literally have to tape it. I want to show you guys sewing. I decided to learn how to sew. I didn't look on anything. I didn't do that. I just started sewing on my own. And then when it came to the point of learning how to tie knots, then I started to look. And so I don't know. I hope that works out. I may do that after this, or I may do it later today if I can. If the camera doesn't work, then it doesn't work. My iPad, I used to be able to do good videos on that, but I can't upload from there anymore because it doesn't support anything because it's too old. Sewing, yeah. So I mean, that's a good skill to have if you never know when that could come in, right? You know, the grid could go down. You have to sew things, animal skins. You know, if someone what if someone cuts himself open by mistake? You know, like cuts himself, right? Then they're able to do that. So I think it's a good skill to have. Okay, I'll start with this, and I'm going to get into something that I said in my last video about are we judged by works? And so I believe I have the answer to this. I had to look. I had to find the definitive answer. And someone's comment also helped me too. So I'll read that in a second after I read this. It's just short. How many of you are watching other Christian YouTube channels? Actually, let's talk about all types of TVs, movies, entertainment. I watched, okay, so the other week I watched 4 movies in 8 nights, and I hadn't done that for the longest time. I mean, like 2 years or something like that. Like put on a movie. I don't watch TV. I just don't do that. So I watched the movies. It was like 8 days in a row. It was like an hour each day. You know, I just wanted to rest and watch something. The more truth of God I've learned, I've started dropping all TV shows. And that was long ago. Movies and other distractions. Like Paul says, and I'm not telling you that it's bad to do it, but to do it continuously is a waste of life. For someone wanting to, you know, move around in godly ways, I'm not saying don't turn off your TV. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just keep listening. Like Paul says, I always have my hands busy, usually with making things like models, candles, working out, fixing something, learning new skills like sewing. Um, I wasted enough of my time watching movies and TV shows, being couch bound, and before that time in my youth. So I'm sure people who are watching me right now all have spent, you know, how many years of your life do you spend watching? You know, when I live here, like an apartment building, when I go for a walk and I walk along, all I see is flashing TVs. I like to walk in the dark. And all I see is flashing TVs everywhere. I'm like, you know, these people are tranced. They're in a trance. Um, what a waste of life that was. Hollywood. We've never been in a more opportune time, though, to create and learn anything we please. Maybe you won't understand this if you haven't read or understand biblical knowledge, but these are distractions away from a forming life. A forming life meaning learning new things in the Bible and skills. You know, things in life that really matter. Do you want to all of a sudden be 40 years old and wonder what you did wrong, only to be watching TV and playing video games continuously? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those in moderation, but I think the shows today, for the majority, are evil in some way, and they don't exalt God at all. In fact, there are too many. There are too many of them that are satanic in origin. I'm not well right now, guys, because of that nerve. Like I don't know. I pulled it. Usually it gets better in a few days. Pardon me. Hollywood. If you didn't know already, do you know what that means? Do you know what Hollywood means? Do you know what the real saying is? It means a wizard's stick, or like a warlock's stick that casts spells. Did you know that? And it's not Hollywood, it's Holywood. So it's a piece of wood called Holywood, and that's the origin. Do you think that's a coincidence? I think not. Hollywood, whether you recognize it or not, has put a spell on the world, and the ideologies appear from there. In California, all the way from my youth, I can see it all in my head in perfect order. All the ideologies, like rap and hip hop, and you know what, rap and hip hop, I watched what that did to society here from the early 1990s. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. It turned a lot of people bad. And yeah, I do point out rap and hip hop. I absolutely do. Gangster rap. There was a lot of crime where I lived, and it's not just that, it's the shows, the movies. And when I say to you these things, I say it probably is bad to watch TV, but I'm just saying in moderation. It depends what you watch, right? I just don't think it was ever meant to be. All they do is program you for dopamine hits, just like videos with TikTok. So listen to this. I may have said this before. Do you remember what I told you? This was probably like 20 videos ago. On TikTok and your platforms, Instagram and Facebook, when you post something and you are waiting and you get likes, each like, okay, so every human, their normal dopamine level is about 100 units. Don't ask me to scientifically explain that. 100 units. And when you take a hit of cocaine, you sniff a line of cocaine. You go from 100 units to about tops 400, and even higher with methamphetamines, which is the highest one of them all. But cocaine is 400. That's pretty high. When you go on Facebook and you get likes and all that, it goes up to 400. Think about that. And you don't think that they designed that in a purposeful manner? They knew what they were doing. It makes me wonder if it was truly people like Mark Zuckerberg who really invented Facebook. You know, I'm not going to get into that and say it's a conspiracy, but it almost sounds like a government program. I don't know. Let's get a bit further. I just wanted to read a few more of these from my last video about talking about works. They're just verses, and then I'll explain and tell you what I think the real meaning is about, you know, are we judged by works? So I just wanted to fit in a few more as I didn't say. Job 34:11. Therefore listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity. For he repays man according to his work, and makes sure to find a reward according to his way. Surely God will never do wickedly. Ephesians 6. With good will doing service as to the Lord, and not to men, knowing that whatever good anyone does, he will receive the same from the Lord, whether he is slave or free. And then I found a wicked article. So I'm going to read this woman's comment if she doesn't mind. I won't say your name, but I appreciate your comment. And so you'll get your answer. Where is it here? Okay, so she answered me just like 9 minutes ago too, so. Okay, let's read her comment. And pardon me a second, then I'll read this, and then I'll read the rest. Always in a rush. I'm trying to get out to sell some candles. Okay, so I won't say her name. So 1 Corinthians 3:10, by the grace God has given. Okay, so this was about are we saved by works? Are we judged by works? Isn't it by faith? And so I'm going to read this, and I'm going to read you the answer that I found. By the grace God has given me, I laid a foundation as an expert builder, and someone else is building on it. But each one must be careful how he builds, for no one can lay a foundation other than the one already laid, which is Jesus Christ. If anyone builds on this foundation using gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, or straw, his workmanship will be evident, because the day will bring it to light. It will be revealed with fire. Remember that. And that fire will prove the quality of each man's work. Remember, Peter says with fervent heat, right? The elements will melt. And what good we have, not evil, that evil will be gone. It will be destroyed by a fire. But the good things will remain. It will be revealed with fire, and the fire will prove the quality of each man's work. If what he has built survives, he will receive a reward. If it's burned up, he'll suffer loss. He himself will be saved, but only as through the flames. Okay, so, and I'm going to read this and make sure my video is recording, and it is. I forget where this is from, but Like what article? For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may be recompensed for his deeds in the body according to what he has done, whether good or bad. 1 Peter 1:17, God impartially judges according to each one's work. So I've read these, and I put, wow, I just found the real answer. If you read the article I provided in my last video, you can find it. Okay, so I put it in my last one. I've been dying to explain this properly. Cottrell writes, how can we reconcile the teaching that we are justified by faith and not works, with this abundant testimony that we'll be judged by works? Is reconciliation necessary? This was in like people all talking to each other in a room, something like Reddit type thing, but it's not Reddit though. And I found the perfect answer. Is reconciliation necessary? A person is justified by faith, salvation, and judged by works having nothing to do with salvation. The unsaved are judged by their works. So the people who aren't saved will be judged differently. They're not all going to be judged the same by their works, and thereby they're denied entrance into heaven, thus condemned to eternal death. The saved are judged by works. If any man builds on this foundation using gold, silver, costly stones, wood, hay, or straw, his work will be shown for what it is. If what he has built survives, he will receive his due reward. If it's burned up, he will suffer loss. He himself will be saved. 1 Corinthians 3. Thank you for that. We all agree that a person is not saved by works, in brackets, given that one is not Catholic or Muslim, where works play a role in salvation. Why build a straw man to argue a point not contested? What's the issue? I don't know if I copied the rest of that. I guess I'll leave it there. I thought there was more to that. I guess I'd have to go back to that, but maybe that answers the question. So now I'm going to have to think about it. So those works they're talking about are just things, and that's what I believed in the beginning. They're just things that, okay, we are saved by faith, and what I believe is that works are still a good thing. They're not necessary, like you don't have to go do them. But the question is, what does a real born-again Christian look like? Would he be doing works? And but we're not saved by them. But so what does that mean, though? So you just keep building. It's like building and building good things for a reward in heaven. And then the people who are evil and are judged, it's like the people who are saved who keep doing good things, it keeps building up for a good reward. You know, just keep building it up as an allowance. But the evil, they go downward instead of upward. That's how I see it. So we are not judged by works, but God, you know, like we're judged as people who are saved. We'll be in front of Jesus, and he will talk about those things that we did, but we'll be saved. So the most important thing to do is read the Bible, repent of your sins, tell God you're sorry for the things you've done in your life, and maybe God will give you a new heart. He'll give you a new heart, a new soul, a new spirit inside of you. If you're truly, a repentant person. So I'll stop there for that. What else did I want to talk about? Tongues. Speaking in tongues. there's been a lot of stuff I've seen in, a lot of people like Joyce Meyer, Kenneth Copeland. It's supernatural. No, I don't watch those. But obviously, I've seen, YouTubers make things, about how unbiblical and stuff there. We all watch those or have watched those things. And you see them. And so I'm just going to say tongues is simply understanding the same spiritual or language, not stupid babbling and unintelligible words like, I can find it for you if you want, Joyce Meyer, Kenneth Copeland. I think all those people do that. At Pentecost, when the tongues of fire descended on everyone and they spoke in tongues, simply means that all of those people, they're from Egypt, they were from all, they name all the different places where they were from. There's like 12 of them or something, 12 different countries. They just all of a sudden understood one another in one language by the Holy Spirit, not some stupid babbling. And you know what the thing is? I know that these people like Joyce Meyer, they know this, but yet they do it anyways. I don't know why. My walk with God in learning, like studying, was about 5 years ago. Before I read the whole Bible, like trying to study it. And I was watching Joyce Meyer and like Joseph Prince. And they seem good enough people, but now that I've come this far, some of the things are just absolutely foolish. That's why it says Satan appears as an angel of light. And I don't care what you think of her. If she is teaching anything other than the real gospel, let her be accursed. And I'm not just trying to point her out, okay? It's understandable if you're only learning and make honest mistakes, not trying to mislead people. I've made mistakes, and but each time I go in search of scriptures to correct myself. So, I'm not trying to be a pastor here, okay? That's not what I'm trying to do. I like sharing this. I believe because I have difficulty speaking and I have a lot of pain, that it's hard for me to get out and do these things and talk with people. Talking with one person is hard enough, like taking turns with my voice and stuff. So I like coming on here and sharing this. Pardon me. So if I say something that's wrong, I don't mean to do it, and if you tell me, I'm going to go look. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say. I'm probably going to do the sewing thing after, I don't know, even later. Just to show you an example that it's good to work with your hands, and I'd like to show it anyways. I've wanted to do some of those types of videos, but the Shroud of Turin, is it real? I've seen this throughout my life. I've watched enough shows since my youth, and it's decades later. They keep claiming to know that it's Jesus' face, and you know what? I'm not even going to talk about the scientific reasoning behind it and stuff like that. It's no different than the daggers of destiny or whatever it is. Like which one is it? From 3 different places. There was one time in the Old Testament when an idol was destroyed, and I think it was Joshua who destroyed it. It was the bronze snake that Moses held up when all the people were being bitten by snakes that God sent after them from being disobedient. You see what happens if you leave that kind of item in place and you leave it behind. That bronze snake sat there, and it was a reminder. But the Jews started to see it as an idol and started to sacrifice and worshiping that rather than God. So that's why it was destroyed. What does God repeatedly hate over and over in the Bible? And it's a commandment not to worship anything but God. There is no mediator besides Jesus Christ. No, not Mary. If you're watching me, I don't care if you unsubscribe from me. You're not biblical. I used to think so. I used to pray the rosary, but I found the truth in the Bible. Do you really think that God would leave an image of his son? Because I don't, and there's no way to prove it anyways, and they will attempt to. And that, they do all this stuff through trickery, right? Like scientific knowledge, so-called, so says Paul. All those and Billy Graham said the same thing about images. Yes, why? The question is why don't we have a picture of Jesus? We have all these other artistic drawings of other people. Why not Jesus? You'd think of anyone they'd do that. He healed so many people that you couldn't fit all the miracles in one book. You said many books, said John. It's because it wasn't meant to happen. And I believe in all my heart that's that. I'm reading the book of Ezekiel right now. I'm studying it with the John MacArthur study Bible. The MacArthur study Bible, because I like getting in depth about things. I'm on Ezekiel 20, I think I'm on like 23 or something. And I got to tell you, I feel sorry for Ezekiel reading that. That was a lot of dedication that he did. His wife dying, lying on his side, the things he had to do and say. It's quite an honor to speak that much. Son of man. Think of how many things he said through Ezekiel, but Ezekiel had to put up with so much torment. But can you imagine the honor of like being Moses and Ezekiel and having God work through you for real for long periods of time? Like, I just find that amazing. And I'm like, did Ezekiel lose anything in that? He was very dedicated to God. He did God's work. Boy, eh? You should read Ezekiel and read study notes with it. But anyways, God bless. I got to go here. So I'll do a sewing thing probably later. It's hard to set up the camera. I probably have to set this up with tape above my microwave or something. God bless. Have a good day.